If I asked you the question, what exactly does Yahoo even do, would you be able to answer? Other tech companies have names that have become synonymous with what they're best at. For example, Google is synonymous with search engine and Amazon is synonymous with online shopping. However, Yahoo isn't really known for one specific thing. They don't have a main strength. But it wasn't always like this. At one point in time, Yahoo was one of the world's leading innovators, creating the world's first website directory as well as the most efficient and popular search engine, leading the company to be valued at a staggering $125 billion. Unfortunately, as the company continued growing, poor leadership decisions caused Yahoo to make a number of fatal mistakes. The company was eventually sold for a fraction of what it was once worth, in what has been referred to as one of the saddest tech deals ever made. So, how did Yahoo end up in this embarrassing position it's in today? Let's find out. Before we go over the rise and fall of Yahoo, we need to first learn a little bit more about the company. In 1994, the website that would eventually be known as Yahoo was created by a pair of Stanford engineering students, Jerry Yang and David Filo. The website was originally called Jerry and David's Guide to the World Wide Web, and was a web directory of Jerry and David's favorite websites that they handpicked to be on the directory. The pair of Stanford students had realized that it was extremely tedious to have to remember or write down the names of their favorite websites, so they decided to create this web directory to solve that problem. A few months after launching, the website was renamed to Yahoo. While the true meaning behind the name Yahoo was not confirmed, it's said that the pair chose the name Yahoo as an acronym for yet another hierarchically organized oracle. However, that's kind of an odd mouthful of words. Another theory that makes a lot more sense is that the pair flipped through the dictionary to find a catchy, unique word to name the company, which ended up being Yahoo, of course, and then came up with the words that fit the acronym afterwards. Whatever the true reason behind the name Yahoo was, the website was quickly growing in popularity. Due to this increasing popularity and in an effort to make the site far more efficient, Yahoo introduced one of the world's first search engines in 1995, which allowed users to search Yahoo's web directory for specific websites. In April 1996, Yahoo IPO'd on the New York Stock Exchange, and the share price jumped from $13 to over $33 per share that first day, giving Yahoo a valuation of over $800 million. Throughout the rest of the 90s, Yahoo continued to rapidly grow and peaked at a share price of $118.75 in January 2000. This gave Yahoo a valuation of over $125 billion. But how did Yahoo grow to such a high valuation so quickly? Let's get into the reasons for the rise of Yahoo. But before we do, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. The fact that the Yahoo directory and search engine was the first of its kind is my first reason for the rise of the company. It's probably hard to imagine today, but back in the early days of the internet, there was no way to just search the entire internet for something. In order to get to a specific website, you would have to remember the URL of that site, otherwise you were out of luck. Jerry and David recognized this problem and began compiling and organizing all of the most popular websites on the internet onto Yahoo, which resulted in the pair creating their first website directory on the internet. And when Yahoo added its search engine shortly after launching, it was one of the first search engines on the internet and by far the most efficient and most popular. My next reason for the rise of Yahoo was the fact that their website was extremely intuitive and organized. Since the internet was extremely new and the overwhelming majority of people had never used it before, any site that wanted to be successful would have needed to be easy to use and understand. Yahoo was just that. Taking a look at what the website looked like in 1994, you can see just how simple and intuitive it was. All of the sites were alphabetically organized into their respective topics, things like business, economy, and politics, making it super easy for anyone to be able to navigate the website. And as the site progressed and added its search engine, it maintained its theme of simplicity by adding the search bar at the top of the page in a different color, allowing it to be easily found. My final and perhaps most significant reason for the rise of Yahoo, the fact that it offered every type of service you can think of. As Yahoo was quickly becoming extremely popular, by 1999 the site had over 120 million unique users, Jerry and David came to a realization. Why have all of their users use their web directory and search engine to ultimately find services on a different website? Why not direct those users to a Yahoo-owned website for those services instead? Once Jerry and David came to this realization, they started spamming new Yahoo services to keep their users in the Yahoo ecosystem. Yahoo Answers, Yahoo Games, Yahoo Homes, Yahoo Maps, Yahoo Messenger, I could go on and on. These are some of the nearly 100 individual services that Yahoo has introduced throughout the company's history, which greatly increased the company's revenue in the 2000s. So, Yahoo obviously had a lot going for them, and the company's rise to become one of the most popular internet companies came as no surprise. But today you rarely hear about the company, and you most likely don't use any Yahoo services. So why is that? What happened to the company that was at one point in time worth over $125 billion? My first reason for the fall of Yahoo is that the company slowly lost its direction. This came about largely because of the fact that Yahoo had introduced the nearly 100 individual services that I was just talking about. At first, Yahoo branching out to just about every service category proved to be a super clever move. However, as time went on, it just resulted in Yahoo's resources being spread out way too thin. Ultimately, as a result, Yahoo became good at a lot of things, but not the best at anything. Like I talked about in the intro, other industry-leading companies had a clear strength. Yahoo did not. And all those specific services that Yahoo introduced that I was just talking about, well, every single one of those services was ultimately discontinued by Yahoo. In fact, Yahoo has launched and ultimately discontinued 86 different services over the course of the company's history. Yes, I went and counted all of them. This has all resulted in massive amounts of wasted money, time, and resources from Yahoo. My next reason for the fall of Yahoo is the company's bad and missed acquisitions. This is arguably the most embarrassing part of Yahoo's history. First, we'll go over some of the bad acquisitions Yahoo has made that have cost the company billions and billions of dollars. In 1999, Yahoo acquired both GeoCities, a web hosting service, and Broadcast.com, the YouTube before YouTube, for $4.58 billion and $5.7 billion respectively. And in 2013, Yahoo acquired social media site Tumblr for $1.1 billion. And the results of these massive acquisitions? GeoCities was shut down in 2009, Broadcast.com was shut down in 2002, and is commonly referred to as one of the worst internet acquisitions ever made, and Yahoo resold Tumblr in 2019 for a measly $3 million. These three acquisitions by themselves represent over $12 billion lost by Yahoo. For reference, Yahoo's peak revenue came in 2008 when they pulled in $7.2 billion, but the company's net loss for that year was $303 million. So, Yahoo losing over $12 billion from just three acquisitions was not ideal to say the least. Yahoo has also famously passed on some of the most potentially lucrative acquisition opportunities. Yahoo originally passed on the opportunity to acquire Google in 1998 for $1 million. A few years later in 2002, after they realized their mistake, Yahoo tried again to buy the search engine, this time for $1 billion. Google's founders balked at this price tag and countered with an offer to sell their company for $5 billion. Yahoo quickly declines this offer, believing that Google was worth nowhere near that. Google, of course, then went on to become the multi-trillion-dollar company that we all know today. A few years after declining to buy Google, Yahoo offered Mark Zuckerberg $1 billion to acquire Facebook. The two sides underwent negotiations, resulting in Yahoo growing impatient and finally offering a little less than their original $1 billion offer. The exact number that was offered is not publicly known. Zuckerberg declined the offer, most likely insulted by the fact that Yahoo was trying to lowball him. Facebook then went on to become the most popular social media app in the entire world, worth trillions of dollars as well. Now, to be fair, it's easy to sit here 2 decades later knowing how successful Google and Facebook are now and say that Yahoo was stupid for not acquiring the two companies when they had the chance. However, at the time, of course the Yahoo executives had no idea that Google and Facebook would eventually be worth trillions of dollars. But the fact that Yahoo passed on these companies and instead went through with acquisitions of companies like GeoCities and Broadcast.com definitely leads you to question what Yahoo was thinking at the time. My final reason for the fall of Yahoo is poor leadership. The poor leadership that Yahoo experienced can largely be attributed to the fact that Yahoo changed their CEO way too often, especially in the late 2000s and early 2010s. Between 2007 and 2012, Yahoo had 5 different CEOs, and none of them were able to accomplish anything of substance due to the fact that their reigns were so short-lived. Until mid-2007, Terry Semel was CEO. Co-founder Jerry Yang took over in 2007 and lasted just over a year until Carol Bartz took over in late 2008. Bartz lasted just a few years until Scott Thompson took over in late 2011. Thompson was eventually outed by Yahoo's board of directors in 2012 and replaced by interim CEO John Levinson, who remained interim CEO for just a few months until Marissa Myers took over in July 2012. Yahoo's revolving door of CEOs left the company without a true battle-tested leader. In fact, all of the CEOs during this time period are each responsible for bad decisions that have contributed to the dire state of Yahoo today. Terry Semel, during his reign as CEO, was responsible for passing on the acquisitions of Google and Facebook. Yang was responsible for passing on an extremely beneficial and lucrative acquisition offer from Microsoft in 2008 that I will be going over shortly. Carol Bartz's lack of accomplishments during her time as CEO is what is most memorable, and she was famously fired by Yahoo's board of directors over a phone call. She then emailed the entire Yahoo staff to inform them of her firing, leaving the classic "sent from my iPad" signature at the end of the email. Scott Thompson was responsible for firing roughly 2,000 employees, around 14% of the company, which ultimately did not make much of a difference at all for the direction of Yahoo. Levinson, well, he gets a pass because he was interim CEO for just a couple months. Marissa Myers, on the other hand, does not get a pass, as she is commonly referred to as the nail in the coffin for Yahoo. At a time when Yahoo was struggling financially, Myers went through with the acquisition of Tumblr for $1.1 billion, and we all know how that turned out. Myers was also responsible for creating an extremely hostile and toxic work environment for her employees through a very strange mandate. Myers mandated managers to report on the best and worst employees for each project that was completed. Even if the project was extremely successful and all of the employees did a good job, managers would still have to choose a handful of employees who performed the worst. This created a lot of tension between employees and resulted in people constantly throwing each other under the bus to ensure that they wouldn't be labeled as one of the worst performers. Overall, Yahoo constantly changing CEOs proved to be detrimental to the company and is a big reason for the downfall of Yahoo. In 2008, under Jerry Yang's reign as CEO, Microsoft offered to buy Yahoo for $31 per share, or $44.6 billion. This was an extremely generous offer by Microsoft, considering that its valuation of Yahoo's share price was 62% higher than the actual share price. In other words, Microsoft offered to buy all of Yahoo's outstanding shares for $31 per share, even though Yahoo's share price was actually only $19.18 at the time of the offer. But Yahoo still declined the offer, believing that they could eventually turn things around and return to the days of when they were worth over $100 billion. However, almost a decade later in 2017, Yahoo shareholders approved the sale of the company to Verizon for just $4.48 billion, in what has been referred to as one of the saddest tech deals ever made. Yahoo went from revolutionizing the internet and being worth $125 billion to being sold for just a few $billion, with a questionable history of acquisitions and poor leadership decisions. Today, in addition to a substantial decrease in value, Yahoo is greatly outshined by its competitors. The Yahoo search engine held just 1.24% of the search engine market share in 2024, an embarrassingly low amount. And Yahoo doesn't really have anything positive to look forward to. None of the companies they acquired or the services they released over the years have amounted to anything substantial. Yahoo is spreading their resources too thin, along with their poor leadership that resulted in awful acquisition decisions, have led the company to experience an embarrassing fall from grace. Will Yahoo ever be able to return to one of the most valuable tech companies? Only time will tell.